In this video, I'm going to be sharing the 10 tiny micro habits that pulled me out of the worst slump of my life with the hopes that they will help you too. These habits are so tiny that anyone could do them. They're completely free and they will not be a 10-step 5 a.m. skincare routine, because I know if you are feeling stuck right now, the last thing you need is to completely overhaul your life. So this is a video for you. So one of the first things that I realized after watching so many routine videos is that a lot of the routines emphasize the morning as the first thing to focus on. What I realized when I was feeling stuck and in a slump, what mattered the most for the morning was actually my evening routine. And it was the things that I did in my evening that set me up for success the next day. So micro habit number 1 is the 2-minute rule. So before you go to bed, just anything that just takes 2 minutes that will set you up for the next day, I want you to do. So think about your next day. Maybe it's you want to go to the gym, so put out a pair of gym clothes, put your sneakers out. Maybe it's to clean up your work desk. Anything that will take you 2 minutes, that will be quick. Pretty much doing this for your future self, because your future self is going to help you, because in the morning you're going to feel groggy, you may not want to wake up, and if something is already laid out for you and ready for you, you are going to be way more likely to do it because it's ready. Okay, so I know we all know about setting a morning alarm, but how about you set a sleep alarm? This changed literally everything for me, because my problem wasn't waking up every single morning. Like, I had to wake up. I didn't have a choice. You have to go to work. I guess you could miss work that day, but for the most part, we have to wake up whether we want to or not, and we have to go to work, right? But when it comes to going to bed, we don't have to go to bed. We can stay up extremely late. I know I definitely can. And it's when I started setting a sleep alarm to go to bed that I actually started having a better morning and able to wake up in the morning. And so my problem was revenge procrastination. I don't know if you've ever heard of this term. So revenge procrastination is when you are staying up late to kind of make up for the day. Like, you feel like maybe your day was too busy at work and you came home from work late, or you were too busy with your kids. And so you want to stay up late and you want to scroll on your phone and you want to watch TikTok, or you want to watch a Netflix movie, even though you know you should be going to sleep. Something that really helped me in this process was putting on the sleep alarm, because I knew it was like my cue, my trigger to go to bed. It's time for me to wind down. You can just literally set an alarm on your phone for, let's say, whatever time that you want to start winding down. And you set that alarm on your phone and you know, this is my time. I need to shut everything down. I need to shut my TV off. I need to put my phone away and go start, wash my face, take a shower, go to bed, whatever you need to do for bed. If you're already feeling stuck and you're feeling in a slump, you really need that energy. And so setting a sleep alarm will help you. It will just be like a little bell, like in your brain. Like, you don't negotiate so much with yourself in the moment. Whereas when I didn't have a sleep alarm, I was always negotiating with myself. Have you ever been laying in the bed and saying, I'm just going to watch this one video, and that one video turns to 10 videos and now it's been 3 hours? That completely gets avoided when you set a sleep alarm. Now we can talk about morning routines. And like I said earlier, this will not be a 5 a.m. wake up, do a cold plunge. We are not doing all that, okay? We are trying to get unstuck. And the last thing you need to do is add a bunch of things to your plate. So something that really helped me, this micro habit that really helped me in the morning, was just doing a brain dump. So this morning habit will really help you clear the clutter in your brain, because if you're anything like me, there's a lot of noise up in your brain, and maybe you're overthinking, and maybe you wake up and just think about like, oh, I have to do this today, that today. This is what you're going to do. You're going to get a piece of paper, a notepad, anything, and you're going to just write what's on your mind for just a few minutes. This isn't a long journaling practice or anything like that. It's just literally getting things from your brain onto the paper and letting them go. If you don't like writing, you can also just get your phone and do a little voice memo to yourself. And now on the Notes app, you can actually record yourself in your phone and it will summarize what you said, and it will also give you key points. So if there's something that you want to get out in a list form or in a summary form, your phone can actually do that for you if you'd rather put it into your phone and do it electronically. But for me, I really like just writing things out, because it just helps me process what's in my mind and just get it out and have space to have the rest of my day feel more productive and feel more in line with what I need to do that day, instead of thinking about that White Lotus episode from the night before that creeped me out, or whatever's on my brain that morning. So now this next point, before you roll your eyes at me, okay, it actually matters and it will actually help you, is making your bed. And it's not about the fact that you need to just make your bed because that's what your mom told you when you were young. That's not what we're talking about here. When I'm saying make your bed, it's because it's like a psychological trick to tell yourself that I have a small win today. I did something today. I did this task. And by doing these small tasks, they build momentum on the other tasks, right? And it just makes you feel more accomplished. It's about psychologically telling yourself that I can do things that I don't feel like doing, that I can do things that feel hard. I can do things because when you are feeling stuck, when you are in a slump, you don't want to do your bed. You don't even want to get out of your bed. So by doing this, it will help you set up the momentum for your day. Now, before we get into the next micro habits, this is the huge mindset shift that changed everything for me when it came to slumps and productivity and motivation and all of this. So the biggest mindset shift that came out of getting myself out of a slump for good and feeling unstuck for good is when I realized that it's not the really big things that actually make the change, but it's actually the really small things, like these micro habits I'm talking about in this video. Because I used to be the type of person that would write these massive lofty goals. If this sounds anything like you, I am with you and I completely understand. But I would write these big lofty goals and I would say I would do all these things like go to the gym 7 days a week and meal prep 8 times a day. And I literally would just think like the craziest things. And I would look for this like reset routine, refresh routine, whatever routine. I would look it up on YouTube and I would get so excited. I would listen to a motivation speech. I would go to an event. I would do these things and I would promise myself that I was going to be this different person that would do all these big actions. But what really happened is I would disappoint myself because I wouldn't end up doing any of it because they all felt so overwhelming. The mindset shift that I had of it's actually these small things every day started to happen when I started doing these little micro habits in this video and started to see them compound over time. And right away when I did my bed, it felt okay. But when I started seeing my bed done every morning, I'm like, oh, I'm the type of person that does their bed. And then when I would, set a sleep alarm and I would end up going to bed on time, I'd be like, wow, I'm the type of person that goes to sleep on time and values my own energy. And these things started to compound over time and started to change my identity by doing these small little shifts. It was never the big changes that I thought I was going to do that made the change. It was the little shifts. Because if you think about it, if you get 1% better every single day, eventually you're going to turn back and you're going to be like a different person. You're going to be the person that you've been envisioning yourself to be, but you didn't envision yourself getting there through the small steps. You thought it was going to be like some big, massive change, but in my experience, it wasn't the big, massive change. It was the 1% better every day that has helped me really make the biggest changes in my life. And it didn't happen in a moment. It happened over time. And I know that may not be fun to hear because it's like, give me the thing that's going to change my life overnight. But if someone is telling you that something's going to change your life overnight, they may be lying to you because it really is the small things that change. Now back to the tiny micro habits that will help you get out of a slump. Something that also really helped me in the morning was playing some really gentle, soft jazz when I first wake up. So if you go onto YouTube and you search coffee shop jazz, there are so many different videos where artists will draw these beautiful cafes or these beautiful beaches and you can just put them on and they play the most soft and gentle music. And that really just helped me curate my mornings into feeling like a nicer place to be. Because when you're cold when you wake up and you're I don't want to be up right now, it's just having that light little music in the background with the nice view of whatever coffee shop I am in Sweden, wherever they draw it from, it just helps me set the mood for my day. Sometimes when you're stuck, you want to listen to more music that makes you feel exactly how you are. So I would want to wake up and play some Brent Fayez or some sad schism music that would make me get in my feels, but that didn't make me feel better. I was trying to get myself to feel better. And trust me, there's a time and a place for that music. I love that music. But when you feel really down and you feel stuck and your mornings suck, this is a little quick thing that you can put on that will help your mornings feel more like a bougie luxury hotel. And that's actually where I got the idea from, which was from vacationing and seeing in these hotels in the morning, they just curate such a vibe with the music. And I'm I can do that in my own house. So putting on some gentle music definitely is a small little micro habit that can help you in your morning. So another micro habit for your morning is to just read 2 pages. So reading in the morning is something that also really helped me, but it's not just reading, it was reading just 2 pages. Because what I originally would do is buy all these books and feel more overwhelmed because I had all these books to read and I'm I don't feel great. I don't want to read some big book right now, especially these long motivational books. I don't want to read this right now. But something that changed for me is when I'm you don't have to read the full book. Just read 2 pages. Just 2. That's all, just two. And I would just read two. And something else that helped me with the books that may help you is when you find specific books that are really short chapters on purpose. Like I recently just read the book Steal Like an Artist, and it's like this tiny little book, and each chapter is so fast. Like you could read a chapter in a minute, or You Are a Badass, or like I would just like intentionally find books that were really short chapters that felt very fulfilling after only reading 2 pages. Or something else too is like you can get a book like The Pivot Year by Brianna Wiest, or Meditations, or I think there's a book called The Daily Stoic where it's like actual messages for that day. And that just like helps you start your morning right without feeling bogged down by having to read a bunch of chapters of a book. Is if you just read a page of that daily meditation, or a page of The Pivot Year, and it's like such a strong message. And like you can literally just sit with that message for 2 minutes and be like, okay, I'm done. You don't have to pressure yourself into reading some big chapter. No, 2 pages, short, quick book, short reads. That is all you need. And that will help you start your morning off right, especially when you're feeling really down. Okay, so now that we've covered your morning routine and your evening routine, let's talk about the actual productivity of your work day, because you may be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but how do I actually be productive at work when I feel stuck or I feel like I'm in a slump? And something that helped me is this micro habit, which is time blocking. And I know time blocking is a popular term, but it's the actual act of understanding what time blocking did for me, which is what changed things for me. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So that means that if you give yourself 3 hours to do something, it's going to take you 3 hours to do it. And if you give yourself 25 minutes to do something, it will take you 25 minutes to do it. And that is something that always messed me up in school, because when I was in my undergrad, when I was in my postgrad, I would say, I'm going to work on this assignment. And then I would stay in the library literally all night long. My friends used to make fun of me for this, and I would be there all night long when it was absolutely unnecessary for me to be there all night long, because I said, you're going to finish this overnight. And I ended up taking all night to finish something. And then I realized, like, you know, I can give myself a time limit and actually finish it within that time limit. Like, I don't need to give myself the whole night, and I don't sleep and I don't eat right just so I could finish this. And so that's the thing about time blocking. When you time block, when you are in a slump, it helps you feel less overwhelmed. Because if you have an assignment to do, or if you have something at your job that you need to do, like a deadline, it could feel very overwhelming when you're like, my whole day is going to be taken up doing this thing. But if you're like, I only have 1 hour in this time block from this time to finish this thing, and then I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to move on to this thing, that will help you so much, because it helps with the feeling of overwhelm, and it also gives yourself like some barriers and some constraint to actually getting something done. Because I know me, if I tell myself, just like Parkinson's law says, if I tell myself I just have to finish this thing today, that thing might take me all day long, when it really should only take me half an hour. Think about it like your friend needs to come pick you up, right? Like you have some dinner plans and your friend's like, I'm going to be there in 1 hour. You got 1 hour to get ready. One way or another, you're going to get ready within that hour. You know, you're going to find a way to get ready. You really want to go to this dinner, you're going to find a way to get ready in that 1 hour, because it's going to expand to the time that you give yourself. So it's the same thing with your work. Put a time limit and a restriction on the work that you need to do by time blocking, and it's going to help you feel a lot less overwhelmed. Now, when it comes to work, we need to protect your focus. So the next micro habit is putting on DND to protect your time. So DND, if you don't know, is do not disturb, and you can put it on your phone, your computer, and it toggles off all the notifications that you would like. You can set it how you would like it. And for me, putting on DND on my phone while working has been a huge productivity hack, especially when I feel like I'm in a slump, because when I feel stuck, I feel like it is very easy for me to scroll for a lot longer. It is very easier for me to just stay in bed and to stay on calls with friends when I know I should be doing work. But by putting on DND, it just helps take away all that distraction, because I think it's a lot harder to say no to distraction than it is to just not have it at all. Like when you are feeling stuck, the last thing that you need is to rely on willpower to get something done. Don't. Just put your do not disturb on and don't negotiate with yourself. You just have it left on, you get your stuff done, then you can go back to your phone and talk to your friends and scroll and do everything that you want to do. But don't put yourself in the position to have to negotiate with yourself when you don't feel like it, especially when you're time blocking your time for intentional usage of using it to work. I used to let my friends call me at whatever time. I love my friends and I love my family, but it kept me very unfocused. On a regular day, even when you feel great, being focused is a very difficult thing to do because there are so many things that are trying to grab our attention, whether it's YouTube, whether it's music, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, people. We live in an attention economy and everything and everyone is trying to take our attention. So to protect your attention and to protect your focus is incredibly important. So try this. Try to put on DND on your phone. And if you're a parent or if you have a spouse and there's something like really important that you want to be available to call you during this time, you can toggle that on. You could put them on your favorites on your DND. This isn't to say that you need to block everything out, but you can block out most of the things that are distracting you. So another micro habit that could really help you is to change your environment. And by changing your environment, I mean literally just getting out of the position that you are currently sitting in right now. So you could change your environment by going into another room in your house. You can change your environment by going outside for a walk and like listening to or having a phone meeting while you're walking around. Or for me, one of my favorites is to just go to the coffee shop. By literally just going to the coffee shop, I feel so much like energy and so much more charged up than staying in the same desk in the same house doing the same thing. It feels like every day becomes the same. So just changing your environment can literally really help you change your mood, your productivity, and everything for that day by just getting out and doing something else. And like they say that location has memory, right? So if your location in your house is your office that you don't like, that you feel is stuffy, that you feel and you have all these bad memories in that location, change it up. Change the direction of things, furniture in your room, change the space, change the environment. Just get outside of your current everyday and change your environment, and it will really help you. You can go to a park. You can do some of your work notes or study at a park. You can go to the coffee shop to take your next meeting. You can go to the library so that you can read your presentation notes. So the last micro habit that can really help you just change your mood and change your whole vibe when you are feeling stuck, and that is listening to podcasts. My biggest mistake was I always felt like I needed to listen to like an extremely motivational and inspirational podcast. And I love those and I listen to them all the time. But sometimes when you are stuck and you feel like you're in a slump, you just want to laugh. And I know podcasts are like super popular right now and there's a podcast for everything, but find some that you enjoy. And just because you're in a slump doesn't mean that you need to just listen to a motivational podcast. You can also listen to like a comedian's podcast. You can listen to like a storytelling podcast, or like some people like true crime podcasts, whatever it is that works for you. You don't have to just only listen to an educational type of podcast. Like my top 3 podcasts this year were Ed Milet, Mel Robbins, and Call Her Daddy. And Mel Robbins and Ed Milet are very motivational podcasts and I love them so much. But Call Her Daddy would literally just make me laugh till like I would have tears in my face. Even when I was feeling down, I'd be like, wow, this is hilarious right now. I really needed this. And so you don't always have to listen to something that seems motivational. It could be literally anything that just makes you feel better in that moment. Now, I would love to hear from you which one of these 10 micro habits that you are going to start today. Please leave it in the comments because when you commit to somebody else, you are more likely to do it. So tell me in the comments below what micro habit is something that you can do today right after we get off this video. Is it setting your alarm? Is it listening to a podcast? Let me know in the comments below. This was part 2 of my slump series where I am dedicated to helping you get out of your slump, feeling like yourself again and feeling motivated and productive. So if this is a topic that interests you, you can find my next video on a slump right here.